How long of a show do you do?
Oh, we're good? We can. That's the first thing you say. How long is this going to be? Hello, we are live here at the Future Comedy Show Studios, which is also my dining room, with very special guest headliner, one of my favorite comics in the game, Andy Beningo. He's pumped. He's pointing at himself.
So excited. This is one of the nicest living rooms I've ever been in.
Well, hey, we started from the bottom. Now we're here.
This is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem. I'm excited because definitely when I first started doing comedy, actually within the first year, somebody told me, hey, you need to talk to Andy Beningo. He's the guy you need to talk to. He'll mentor you. He'll push you in the right direction. And you had a little book you sold me. No joking.
Yeah, I was going to say, they gave you the wrong advice. They told you to come to me for comedy.
So, I'm very excited. Andy, you've won 2 awards for Detroit's Best Comic. Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel in your soul? We're getting down to these deep questions.
That one I feel like was some kind of dinner for schmucks kind of thing. You know what I mean? I feel like somebody got together and was like, "Who's the worst comedian ever? We should vote for him." And I think that's probably why I won.
See, I knew you were going to be very modest.
Thanks.
I knew you were going to be very modest on it. This is the time you could
my phone back.
you could bump your chest. You say, "Not only am I the funniest, I'm the best looking comic in Detroit." You tell them.
Well, we know that part's already true. No, I mean it's nice. I mean those things are always nice, but I mean again, comedy's always subjective. So I mean it's obviously Detroit is such a great comedy scene, anyways. I mean, it's a nice thing to be named or whatever. But I mean, I look at it and I go, man, there's 30 guys that I think are way better. So it's it's nice.
Well, they can't win every year,
Yeah, right, exactly.
No, Andy is a supremely talented comic. He's been in live at the Gotham.
Yeah, that's true.
That's a huge achievement.
That was my favorite.
That's your favorite achievement.
My favorite thing of all time. Yeah.
Who hosted that night when you went?
It was Bill Bellamy.
Bill Bellamy.
And I was so excited, so nervous. I played the club earlier, about a year before, because Caliendo was bringing me around.
Oh,
to totally name drop.
Oh yeah, and that's another big cool thing that sometimes Andy will pick me up in his sweet ass Impala, he'll take me on the road, and he'll tell me about old Frank Caliendo. If you guys don't know who Frank Caliendo is,
my sweet Impala with 289,000 miles in the cracked windshield.
Dude, we look dope as shit when we pull up with your fucking Impala, with your Impala, my Aztec. We're just hardcore.
We are the coolest people around, I think, man.
If you're gonna make it big in comedy, just get yourself an Impala.
That's it. That's all you need is an Impala.
Yeah, great on the gas.
It's awesome.
Comfy.
It's amazing. It's a good road car. I mean, because it's not flashy, but I mean, the whole thing is just get a car that's a beast. Something that's gonna last you forever. Because especially this business, when you're driving 40,000 miles a year.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like it'd be sweet to have a Mustang or something, but I'm like, I don't want to beat up a Mustang.
I did. I beat up a Mustang for a little bit, but that wasn't good.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't sleep in the back of it, so that's nice.
Right,
no point of that.
Right, for sure, man. But no, it's good, man. I still like driving, still like checking places out. So
tell us about opening up for Frank though, because Frank was one of the comics who did the John Madden impression. That's like what he's famous for.
Yeah, that's what's weird about comedy, because I remember being in college and seeing his half-hour special and being blown away and being like, this guy's hilarious. And then it's weird that life is that long that you get to even know that person. Yeah,
and then you got to open up for like this. You're like, this guy's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and then, you're like, that's my guy, And so he was very very quiet, very humble guy, and seemed to like what I did. So he brought me on a bunch of clubs that I probably should have been working. A lot of the improvs, a lot of the funny bones, and so Gotham was one of them. He asked me about playing there, and so yeah, I got to do like a weekend there in New York, and it's an awesome club because it's pretty much like you've been in New York before. A lot of you've never been.
Been to Los Angeles, Chicago,
okay,
but never New York. It's like my final destination. It's like the last level.
You gotta go. New York is interesting because I feel like all the clubs are small.
Yeah,
they're all like 100 seats, 200 seats at the most. But Gotham is like playing like a Midwest club. It's probably like 300 seats, but instead of it being deep, it's a little bit more wide.
Yeah.
So you're doing that move a lot. You're turning.
Oh, I like those.
But I remember I was so nervous. The first time I played it, I threw up in the bathroom.
Oh, you mom spaghetti'd? Oh, dang.
I was so nervous because it's like, this is a big deal. Here it comes. And I just kind of like threw up and Frank and George Cantor, who was the other guy on the show, was a buddy of mine.
Yeah.
They were both like, "Are you fine?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm fine."
He just wipes it off your face.
Yeah,
and said, let's go.
So nervous, and then the club. I mean, it's like any other club. If you have jokes, they're gonna laugh at it. And, something cool about New York is it's just the energy in the room. It's just electric. It's just electric.
They're excited to see you.
Yeah, and then you do the show. You go, "Good night," and then you bust open the door, and then you got this. You see the city, and it's
gosh,
it's the coolest. So, yeah, I got lucky where I got to do that, and then I just kind of submitted about 5 or 6 months later, and then got the show. So
no shit, that's awesome. Cool. Actually, we have a message in from Kevin Kramus. He says,
Kevin Kramus. Yeah.
Hey, is that Flounder from Animal House? He must have seen your act.
He's seen it too many times. I feel like I apologize every time I see Kevin. I'm like, yeah, it's the same jokes you've seen me do over and over. Good to see you. One of the best. He's the best guy ever.
Yeah, Kevin's awesome because he always has something to say, and it keeps the podcast interesting. And also, Robert Wells is watching. What's up, Rob?
Hey, man.
And Maggie Zimmerman's watching, and Luke Nesbitt. That's pretty sweet.
Look at that, man.
Yeah, we got 9 people watching. It's pretty.
That's huge.
Freaking intense.
That's more people than watch my Gotham thing. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
What is it like? Because your comedy, you're definitely family oriented. You talk a lot about having your kids. What is it like being a comic and also being a family man who is there for his family? You're not a comic who just leaves on the road for 12 months and then comes back and
I mean, I've been pretty bad. I've been lucky to find the right balance of being able to go and still do shows and still be home for my family. Number one, family still wins every time. I mean, I know that's kind of a cliche thing to say, but it's still
not for some people. People are like, fuck family.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty lucky where like my wife gets that I'm a comedian.
Yeah,
like you know what I'm saying. Like she gets like, oh, you have to go on the road. Totally go.
She doesn't hold you and
no,
Beningo.
She's been great, man. She's been awesome, and then obviously just having that support system of my parents who just retired, and then her parents who are pretty much retired. So if I gotta go, there's people that can
so
watch
many people to watch. Now you have 2 kids, right?
Yeah, now my daughter's at that point where she's almost mad that I'm not going. You know what I mean?
Oh, really?
She'll give me her keys, like, go tell jokes. And I'm like, all right, gotta go hit an open mic or something. You guys don't want me around.
She's
so
like, get out of here. I want to watch the Papa the Pig.
She's getting old. Yeah. That's it.
Now, the funny thing is, I bought Andy's CD. Do you have your CD on you? I was going to ask you to bring it in
the car,
Is it online?
Yeah, it's on iTunes. It's on my website.
Oh yeah, I bought it off iTunes.
Stuff, yeah.
So every time I'm in the gym, Andy comes on my headphone, and I always laugh because of the bit about the Chinese place.
Chinese restaurant.
Oh, it's Beningo.
That was the first joke I ever wrote, actually. It was a true story. It was in college, and I used to order from this Chinese restaurant. They would always butcher my name, and I just told a friend of mine, and he thought it was hilarious, and it was, I think, the very first open mic. That was the very first joke I ever did.
I think that'd be a great. I think that'd be a great T-shirt for you. Then maybe like just like one guy. He's like, Beningo.
It's so. I don't know if hacky's the right word, but it's a premise that's been done a million times. So I don't even really do it as much. But
well, I mean, it's one of my favorites just because of how you say it. Can you just deliver that one line?
Which one?
The Beningo.
Oh, bingo. I love that I have like an hour and a half of material. The one joke that I hate doing, you're like, that's my favorite.
That's my favorite. Because literally, I'll be in the gym all the time, and that pops and it just popped. Like that's like the beginning of the bit too. Yeah, so I just like, he's like, oh, bingo.
Yep.
I just be cracking up. People are like, why is this guy laughing to
himself?
I'm just like, I'm like doing curls, just laughing. Like, they're like, this guy's a narcissist. He just thinks
nutcase.
He thinks he's hilarious.
Yep. For sure. Well, thanks again for buying it.
Oh, yeah. Well, it was definitely worth the money. I mean, I've listened to it 100 times in the gym, for sure.
Man. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I got an XM to totally brag.
Oh, yeah.
Which I'm pretty excited about. So,
watch that.
That, for me, is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's fucking sweet. XM. That's just another... just learning from you, and sometimes in this business, it's all about building a resume. And you definitely have done that. You start off 2-time Detroit funniest comic. You've been on Gotham. You on XM. You open up for Frank Caliendo. It's like you build it up, and one day you're just working all the time.
Yeah, there's a little bit of luck too. I mean, it's what I mean. It's kind of the same thing. I just kind of went out on the road. We've talked about that. Just getting in the car and just driving and kind of
showing
meeting
up
people.
Places and
meeting people, and then that leads to one thing, and then that leads to another thing, and before you know it, it's kind of a snowball of.
Well, if I was gonna say one thing that I think the reason not only are you just really funny, but another reason you're successful is that you've always been helpful to me, and I could tell that you, like, when other comics talk to you, they're gonna get honest, good advice from you. Unlike, sometimes you just don't get good advice.
Sure, I try to do that because that's what guys did when I started. You know what I mean? When I was starting off, I was that guy in the back. I was kind of just like a sponge. I just wanted to learn from everybody.
Yeah.
Like, whoever was a comedian, I was like, oh, they're almost like a god to me. I was like, you do comedy, that's amazing. And,
yeah.
It was the same thing. It was just, what can I learn from everybody? You know what I mean? And so I would kind of ask guys that I'd work with or whatever, just any little piece of advice. And they always said, it's cliche advice now, but
keep getting up.
Keep getting up, keep
That's
writing. But I was like, my head almost exploded.
Well, you almost need to hear it all the time because even though it's like the most simple thing, sometimes you just forget about it. Like, what's the secret? And it's just a long road.
It's all just seeing what sticks to the wall and, trying to bid 150 times and just figuring it out. And I think personally, my favorite thing in the world was that Seinfeld documentary, Comedian.
Oh yeah, I've seen that. What was the other guy?
It was him and Orny Adams, I think.
Orny Adams, yeah,
but it's got everybody in it. It's got what's his name, Colin Quinn and all those guys. And for me, that was kind of cool to see because I'm like, Seinfeld's probably the most successful comedian,
most
ever.
Decorated comic.
Yeah.
Like if you were gonna say, him, Carlin, and Pryor,
and you get to watch him go. All right, I'm starting at 0. I have no material. I threw all the material out.
Yeah.
And what does he do? He writes as much as he can, and he gets up as much as he can.
And he does, and he just polishes and keeps him going.
You can't escape that process.
Who's your favorite comic?
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld easily.
He's great. Working today.
Yeah.
You mean?
Well, Seinfeld's still working. You can buy his ticket $100 to see him.
Yeah. Well, he was just in Saginaw. I saw.
Yeah, I seen him a couple years ago. It was great.
How was it? It was good.
It was great, and he was a phenomenal performer. You could tell he wasn't scared. He had no ounce of nervousness up there. He was destroying.
That's where he lives.
I think he's for a little bit older demographic than myself.
Sure.
He did a little.
Like kids and family, or
a lot of family stuff, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
My favorite is Big J Okerson. But
he's great. Yeah.
Big J Okerson or Joe Rogan or there's a million. There's a million of them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those guys are great. Big J, super nice guy too.
Really,
super nice guy.
That's phenomenal.
I worked with him one show.
I seen him one time at the Oddball Comedy Fest. I was too nervous to talk to him. I seen him
really?
I was like, that's Big J. And I was like,
dude.
That's Big J right there. And I was like, the girl I was with, she's like, do you want to talk to him? I'm like, oh, no, I can't do that.
I did one show with him, and he was like the sweetest guy, because I felt the same way. Like, oh, should I say something? And he's like, oh, come in the green room, whatever.
Oh,
sweetheart
awesome.
of a guy. Yeah, I wish you would have said something.
I kind of do. I kind of wish I did say something.
Yeah.
Because he does a lot of crowd work.
It's all crowd work, yeah.
And that's what I like to do, too. So
of course. You guys are perfect style. That's a perfect guy to watch to see, because that's the same, again, that's the kind of style that you do, and do it well, too.
Yeah, thank you. Well, I'll just take that one for myself. Oh, yeah. Second most funniest comic 2019, maybe, if they ever make that category.
Right.
They don't even have a category in Saginaw. They're like, Saginaw, is that still a town or what?
Right.
Our paper's dying. They don't have any.
Is it?
I don't, probably.
Is it it's not the Argus, is it?
What?
Or is it the Argus, or is that more by me? Because we're only about I live about a half hour.
Is that your paper?
I think
the Argus?
That's what it is, the Argus or something.
I'm gonna try to go get a news interview in the Argus.
You should, man.
I'm coming for the Argus right now.
Any publicity you can get.
Hey, babe,
man.
Put that on the to-do list. We're calling the Argus. We're trying to get on there.
Get an exclusive.
Yeah, maybe they'll put that. Maybe they'll pull some things out of this article and we'll quote them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Maybe they'll plug the podcast. They say, a couple local guys,
local heroes,
couple local guys team up, talk about Chinese food.
Talk about Chinese food, yeah.
That'd be a good thing for us. We go do the Food Network kind of thing.
Absolutely.
We just do Chinese food places. That's it, though.
Just do a tour of them. Do a tour of them.
Usually, most places do some barbecues, organic kitchens. We'll just do straight Chinese.
Stand right by the buffet line and just tell jokes as people are getting their food. Just make it really awkward.
That's the. Have you ever seen the? Was it Impractical Jokers? Where
it's the best show ever.
You see the one where they their mission was to steal food off of.
Yeah.
That is the funniest.
what's the guy's name? Sal is always afraid of everything in those things, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so nervous." Yeah, that my wife and I laugh our asses off at that show.
I love
those guys
show.
Are hysterical.
I bootleg that show all the time.
You should. It's great. Those guys are amazing.
Let's see. Eric Quintero says hi.
Oh yeah.
He said hi, Chris. I don't know who he's talking to.
Chris.
Hope you've been well.
Yeah.
Well, he's a big fan.
Yeah.
Hey, great to see Bingo doing well. You've come a super long way, man. Remember the Black Pearl?
I do, actually, yeah. It was a show that Eric set up in Spring Lake, Michigan. Ooh. And it was, I think I was there maybe once or twice for Eric, and it was a true story. It was when I was still relatively starting off, and my dad was like, he didn't get like stand up at all. Like, he was just kind of like, oh, whatever.
We'll see what happens.
And I was like, well, just come to this show with me. Just come. And so we drove, I think, 2.5 hours up to Spring Lake, and I was so excited. Like, all right, my pops is here. He's gonna watch me, and he's kind of like talking to me about comedy. Like, that's pretty cool what you're doing. And I'm like, oh, I got like kind of a stamp of approval from my old man.
That's nice.
I go into the room, and if Eric will probably remember this, I bomb like hard. Just hard.
Is it the first time your dad's seen you live?
Yeah, and then it's a 2-hour drive back home, and nobody says anything.
And he's like preparing your resume for other things.
Yeah, and it's awkward. He's like, so this is what you do, huh? Okay, well, you have a backup plan.
Oh my gosh.
But I remember, I think I was there another time, and it was great. I remember that place.
The Black Pearl.
Eric, yeah. Good to hear from Eric.
Here's a Denise. She wants you to remember Camp Dearborn. You remember that? Hi, Andy.
Hey, Denise, what's up? I do. It's where I was
I feel like that's where you guys hooked up one time.
No.
Remember Camp Dearborn?
Camp D, wink, wink. No, it was my summer job. It was a true story. I worked at this place called Camp Dearborn for like literally 10 summers. It was from, I was in 8th grade going into 9th grade, and then I worked there all the way till 2000 and I want to say like 6 or 7. The reason I quit the job is because I got into a comedy festival.
No way. You used to be a camp counselor? You would be a good camp counselor.
I was the worst. It was
right. You're like great. Giving them good guidance. That's what they told. That's what there was one young kid, and they're like just first day at camp, and they're like, "You need to go talk to Andy. He'll give you some good advice."
You just got to get up more and write more. They're like, "What are you talking about?" Just do that.
What was that first festival that you got into?
The first festival, so it was called the Great American Comedy Festival, which is still going today. It's awesome. In Johnny Carson's hometown of Norfolk, Nebraska.
Oh, I've heard about this.
So I got in it kind of a weird way. I still, at the time, was qualifying as an amateur because I still wasn't getting paid very much to do comedy. Yeah. So I drove out to Norfolk and just basically auditioned. So it was like they took, I think, 2 people every week, and there were like 5 or 10 weeks of this thing.
Oh, wow.
And so I showcased, and it was kind of like an audience vote.
Yeah.
And that's and I got in. Yeah,
that's awesome cool. That you won an audience vote. I could never win an audience vote. Ever.
Yeah, it was. They were good. And then the festival itself, it's still going. Eddie Brill, the guy who used to book Letterman.
Oh.
Great. He's a phenomenal comedian. I'm not sure if you've ever seen Eddie. Mm. But he books kind of like the pros there. So so I remember. So I was in this amateur division, but then the pros were there's Michael Palisak, Tommy Jonigan, Andy Woodhull, and there were a couple other guys that since then have pretty much kind of blown up. And
I've seen Andy at the Lansing, the club that they had there for about 2 weeks.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart of a guy.
Yeah, he was really nice.
Tonight
Very
Show
funny guy. He was on the Tonight Show?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he's done everything,
Andy
man.
Woodhull.
He's a good dude. Super funny and makes you look effortless.
Yeah.
But I remember seeing those guys and what's going on, trying to pick their brains a little bit and stuff. And then, the festival's still going. It's every year.
What's the weirdest advice you ever got from a comic? Besides get up, right? What's any kind of advice that you got? You're like, what?
my favorite was always, hey, what advice do you have? And they'd be like these grumpy old guys who've been doing it like 40 years.
Yeah.
And then changed the word of their act, and they're like, here's what you got to do, kid. Get out of the business. Don't even do comedy. It's the worst. It's gonna break your heart. And that was always I was like, no, I don't want to do that. So I think anytime people told me to get out of it, you know,
just made you want to do it more.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, maybe they're being helpful because they're like, this guy's horrible. He should probably quit.
Well, but
I just think I took it as like, guys get burned out, whatever.
Yeah,
but
it's an easy business to get burned out in, especially if you're on the road all the time and it does just. I mean, because not a lot of people can hold it together quite like you. I mean, you're balancing a great career, fantastic family, a fucking sweet Impala, and
Chinese food. I got it all, man.
You got the Chinese on lock, and you do it, and you have a nice balance. Some people don't. They can never achieve that. They go out and they go on the road for a long time. It hurts the relationship. Maybe you get out. If you're a headlining comic, maybe you're the star of the show. Maybe you drink it too much. Maybe you fornicate on accident.
On accident.
You know what I mean? And it ruins the relationship.
You accidentally just fall on top of somebody else. Oh, sorry about that. That was an accident.
My bad.
No, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know. I don't really know what the question is, but I feel like I just kind of find my priorities, I guess, if that makes sense. Like, you know what I mean? Like, my family's awesome, so I love, being with them. And then when I'm home, I'm with them. And then when I'm doing comedy, it's just found a nice balance.
Well, that's a good thing to show.
I'm lucky.
Other people, aspiring comics who think like, okay, well, I have to go to Los Angeles. I gotta leave my family. I gotta go to New York. I gotta do this. You can have a successful stand-up career where you live.
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on what you want to do, too.
Yeah.
I think if you're looking for, stardom or TV, definitely New York, LA is probably places to go. I mean, but there are guys. I mean, Chad Daniels out of Minneapolis is probably one of the best comedians ever.
And he still lives in
Chicago. Last time I talked to him, I think he was still living in Minneapolis.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And
but that's the Twin Cities, right?
Yeah.
So he basically lives in two cities. I mean, that's pretty hardcore.
right, for sure.
He's cheating.
But no, it all depends on what you want to do. I think if you're looking, obviously, for something bigger, you got to go bigger markets. I'm kind of fine being where I'm at.
Well, you're a local celebrity for sure.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Okay. Can we talk about something? You were working on a script.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk about that, or is that?
It's still getting there. So
that's highly classified. I mean, we're not going to be able to tell you about that, but Andy's working on some big shit.
Yeah, just kind of, it's whatever. It's just a side project.
Well, you don't want to let people know until it happens. Because I'm the same way. Like I have things that I want to talk about, but I'm like, well,
sure. You write it and you go, what do you think? And they go, yeah, that's good. And then change this, and then it. I mean, it's like anything. You don't want to tell people, oh, this is happening, and then it doesn't happen because then you look like a goof, So,
well, this is just it. Andy Beningo is going to be on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, that's it, actually. I'm going to be huge, and I'm going to dance with Emmett Smith. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be so much fun.
That'd be sweet. I think that you guys would be a very nice.
I think
brisk you softly across the dance floor.
The foxtrot. That's what we'd be good at.
Adam Herbstreet says,
"Oh yeah,
when's your stand-up DVD special coming out?" Andy winked. I think.
Adam's a good man. If any comics are watching and need to get anything taped, he's the guy to definitely tape it for you. We're still trying to figure that out because I shot a kind of a special. I did this half-hour set at the Woodside Bible Church for this.
That's.
Have you heard of this before?
No, I have not.
Dude, they do this thing called Comedy for a Cause.
Yeah.
And I got booked, and the guy in charge is complaining, and he's kind of like apologizing. He's like, "I'm really sorry. This is a really low turnout. I'm really sorry." There were 3,000 people.
Holy shit! And just so you know, this is at a church, right?
Yes. So
this is explicit material only. These are all the F-bombs. These are the dirty dog. This is Camp Dearborn all over again.
That's right. So we filmed it, and I basically have chopped it up into YouTube clips and basically used it for promo material. But we were trying to figure out a way of doing it as a DVD as well. But then it's also like, well, it's only a half an hour, so it's like, should we wait and do a longer set? Or
well, you just need a 15-minute opening, driving in your Impala, listening to sweet music, coming up with the thing. That'll be 45, and then the extra 15 minutes will be you driving away,
driving back,
going to Taco Bell.
Yeah, right.
Eating the burrito and then the credits roll.
I like it.
That's an hour. I think they dig that. I'll do a cameo. I'll drive the Impala for you.
I like it, man.
That'd be sweet.
But Adam's a good dude. I've known him since like high school. So if any comics are looking out for a guy, I mean, he did basically a 3-camera shoot
Oh, dang.
And spliced it. Dude, it looks like Comedy Central or something.
Oh, my God. I need one of those for sure. I need like
Hit
a
him up.
7-minute set.
You gotta hit him up, man. He's great.
Hey, Adam, do you charge by the minute or what? How do we do that? He can be the Uber driver. My buddy Charles Warner says, "What's up, Mike? Glad to see you're killing it out there. Come down to Detroit for a show, and I'll definitely come catch it." Hey,
Cool.
Charlie Warner. We used to wrestle together when we were kids.
Oh, yeah?
But I do have a show in St. Clair Shores.
Oh,
What,
nice.
January, February what?
The third week,
The third week of February?
I believe so.
We'll look that up and we'll get
St.
back
Clair
to you.
Shores.
Yeah, we got a Connor Street pub. It's a nice little 60-seat venue. You come out.
Nice, man.
I think,
You know what famous
The 24th.
Michigan comedians
It'll
from
be
there?
who?
Dave Coulier.
Dave Cooley is from St. Clair
St. Clair
Shores?
Shores boy.
Oh, hey, Dave, if you're if you're listening to this, why don't you come to
yeah.
the show?
Yeah, to a guest set.
Yeah, come to a guest set.
Yeah.
Actually, you want a funny story? Talking about advice from comics.
Mm-hmm.
When I first, before I even started doing comedy, or like very much in the very beginning, I helped promote shows at the Temple Theater.
Yeah.
I promoted for Rocky the Port,
Mm-hmm.
Ralphie May, and Dave Coulier.
Yeah.
And I had backstage passes to go meet him and
Yeah.
go talk to him. I brought my
Nice.
sister and I brought
Yeah.
my brother, and I went back there and I'm looking for some good advice. And I'm like, Dave, I've seen you on TV.
Right.
You're doing well. Your comedy's funny. What advice do you have for a young aspiring comedian? And he said, follow your dreams.
Oh, yeah. That's what he said, huh?
I was like, well, thanks for that useful tidbit. I will follow my dreams. Thank you, Dave.
My favorite one, I think he said one time to somebody, he was like, make sure your fly's up or something.
Oh, that's a good
I
one.
remember that one, yeah.
That's probably...
Well, because again, it's advice is so subjective as well. It's
yeah.
Some guys, I've had guys tell me like, oh, you want to dirty it up, which you can for clubs, and
Well, I mean-
you can always put stuff in, but it's like if you write, kind of a cleaner set, you just.
But that's what I think that's what bothers me. I think people give you like advice about like when to write and get up and
Sure.
do stuff. But I don't think people should give you advice on what you actually do in your act, because I think it's like, why would we do what you say to do? Because that's what that's your act.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Because if we all had the same act or we had the same jokes, then there's so many different audiences. I mean, that's kind of a hard thing. I like advice. I don't like advice specifically on what you should specifically do. Like, if I told you, oh, go do dirty, then what? How are you going to get booked for that 3,000 person church?
Yeah, some guys can pull it off better. I think I've said this. I think I've probably told you this. I look like a teddy bear, so it's not gonna make sense if I'm up there saying a bunch of dirty stuff. People are like, "What?" Because I've tried that before. When I started, I was kind of dirtier.
Yeah. Can you say dildo live? Will you say it?
Dildo.
Oh my God, we got him to say dildo.
Were you taking bets on it?
Dude, that was you owe me $10.
Yeah. Well, but you know what I'm saying. So it's like I started dirty, and I felt like it didn't really hit as well as my cleaner stuff. So I just kind of naturally wrote what I thought was funny, and kind of found a market. So
yeah. You have. I mean, that's a good thing about being clean. You can work corporates. You can do pretty much
do anything you want, man.
Yeah.
You can do anything you want. And again, when you're doing clubs, you can always throw in dildo and whatever else you need to get laughs.
Do you remember the Vagina song? Did I do that Vagina song for you?
At Big Tommy's.
Oh,
I think you were just starting it.
Yeah. Well, I didn't do it for very long.
Is it done?
I don't do it. I'm maybe like a very special occasion. Like, I don't do it very often.
Special occasion?
Yeah. Well, like if there's a really good crowd that's like the Vagina song, Vagina song.
So you get requests for it.
Yeah. Well, sometimes
Yeah. All right.
But like for the most part, I think that may have gotten me out of the Holly Hotel for a little while.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Well, because I didn't even do it at the Holly Hotel because I know my audience. I'm not gonna do the Vagina song
for much older. Yeah.
But I did it at a Banto show, and it was just like a Sunday night. All the locals are out, and oh, I think the manager was there, and I think she was.
From the Holly Hotel.
Yeah, I think that may have got me. Okay. Oh, here's the date: January 20th, 8:30 p.m. St. Clair Shores, and I believe Mitch Gill's featuring for me. So
all right,
sweet.
Mitch is a good dude.
Oh, Michelle Van Dusen says, Andy. Hey, dude.
Hey, what's up? How's it going, Michelle? It's a very funny comedian from, don't tell me, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh, Tulsa.
Very funny.
Michelle, come on up.
Yep.
You can stay at Andy's house. I just let you.
Yeah.
Come on.
With all the screaming kids and everything. She's very funny. Yeah,
That's good, Michelle. Yeah, if you're ever up in Michigan, definitely hit us up at the Future Comedy Show. We'll definitely love to have you on a set or a show or something.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's that awkward silence. We're like, oh, that's pretty much it.
Well, we've hit a lot. I've been pretty. Well, let's do a name association.
Okay.
What do you like? One of my favorite comics, Dave Lando.
Dave Lando's the best. The king. I would say the king because of the movie. He's hilarious.
Oh yeah, Dave Lando's awesome. Yeah. How about Bill Bouchard?
Great, fantastic. He's one of the funniest guys who does the exact opposite of what I do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like he's so dirty, but he's hilarious.
Oh, he's fantastic.
He's funny.
He's one of my favorite comics.
He does a lot with the crowd and stuff as well, and yeah, he's great.
And how about Louis C.K.?
Louis C.K. Yeah, he's good. He's good. Well, it's such a weird. Again, he's a very good comedian, but now there's anytime. It's like Cosby. Like anytime you hear his name, you go, oh, like
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you next. I was like, Bill Cosby.
I think again, if you're looking at his personal life, it's just sad because you feel like he slapped your childhood in the face.
Oh, he did.
You know what I mean?
Oh, he did. He put pudding all over everybody's face.
But well, he was at Laugh Fest.
No
I
way.
want to say the very first year they did Laugh Fest, my wife and I, we were still dating. That was her favorite comedian. And we got seats, I think 7th row.
Yeah. So
Comes out, sits in a chair, and crushes for 2 hours.
Holy
it was
shit.
phenomenal.
So I like to imagine that like you and your wife were laying in bed several years later after that show, and she heard the news about Bill Cosby. She's like, "Well, Bill Cosby's no longer my favorite, babe. You've made it to number one."
Yeah. I mean it was sad actually because she had like the Cosby Show on DVD and sold all of those at a garage sale.
See, I have a
it's so sad because you're like, this guy was the best, and now that's all you remember him for. You don't remember his Bill Cosby himself as being one of the best stand-up specials of all time. You remember him for the unfortunate allegations.
For his his unfortunate sleepy events.
Yeah,
that he had.
Right.
That's funny because I have a Louis C.K. Rolling Stones cover magazine framed in my house, and I had it like
Right up there.
I definitely had it like 5 years before any rubbing allegations came out.
Well, I mean,
I'm not taking it down.
He's
I reframed it.
He's the guy that everybody looked up to. Don't you feel like he was? Because I feel like when I was first getting into stand-up, I was still in college, right?
Yeah.
Dane Cook was the guy.
Well, see, that's what...
So you would go to a club and you'd see everybody basically emulating Dane Cook. You'd have a lot of like, just
real
all
emotion,
over the place.
All over. Yeah, I love his physical.
And then
physicality.
he kind of dropped off, and Louis kind of took over. And then when you notice kind of the same cadence and the same kind of style that a lot of comics try to emulate.
Oh, I know some comics that
which
have
I'm
a lot
not
of
saying
success.
I'm not saying it's good or bad, but he was definitely the guy for a long time.
Oh, his bit about being on the airplane and the Wi-Fi going down, that was brilliant.
Yeah, it's great.
Brilliant.
Great.
You guys look it up. Google it. And you can talk about him jerking off. All right. That was very bad. Shame on you, Louis C.K. One more. I'm not sure if I can't remember. Mm-hmm. If you were to play one place, you got your finish line. What's that gig that you'll have that when you cross that finish line, you say, "Holy shit, I made it. I'm so happy. I can retire to my little village of Chesaning and fucking stay at home, clean your Impala out, and
eat Chinese food all day.
Eat Chinese food with your family, watch Papa the Pig, and just retire." What would that be?
Well, my goal is always I want to do the Tonight Show. That was always my kind of dream in the back of my mind. I just want to do one set because I feel like
Jimmy Fallon.
But it's very, 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 very hard to get. So
it definitely is.
I would love to do it one day, and it's something I'm continually kind of working towards. So I think if I got that, I could just do a mic drop and go, I've done everything I've wanted to do. But like I said, it's taken me in a different direction than I thought it was going to. Comedy, it just kind of grabs you and pulls you in certain spots. And where I'm at now, like I said, between having the kids and doing cruises or whatever else.
Oh,
It's been
yeah,
nice. It's been
yeah.
nice.
I seen a great picture of you on the cruise.
Yeah, it was pretty sweet. Man.
What's the perks of being on the cruise? How do you like that?
Well, it's so funny because I think the first time I got offered it, I was like, I don't want to do that because you just think about like those guys in their 70s that are wearing Hawaiian shirts.
Oh, yeah.
And are just total hack fest or whatever. But they're
And then they paid you, and you're like, oh, I'll do it.
yeah. 'Cause I was originally like, no, I don't want to do that. And then they told me how much it was, and I was like, oh, I'll go. Yeah, absolutely, I'll go do that.
Chips ahoy!
And then you go, the travel's taken care of, the food's taken care of, and then you do 2 shows in a 1,000-seat theater. So those are packed, and then you do a bunch of little nightclub sets, and then it's great. So and then you're going somewhere, like they just,
And then you get
just
to
got
go
back
port
from I got back from Europe and
Oh
just-
boy,
so
you fancy,
kinda
huh?
weird. Yeah, it's just kind of weird how like I said, it's something I wasn't
Thinking you were gonna do.
looking towards or whatever, but it just kind of grabbed me and took me that way.
Well,
so.
and that's kind of comedy too. Is you don't know what it's gonna bring you.
You never know. I mean, I see a lot of talented people that I go, oh, they'll be somewhere, but the end result, I don't think anybody ever knows.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a fun thing with comedy is,
That's sweet. I think the ships are. I do the ships for sure.
Yeah.
I do the ships for sure.
Yeah.
I'm a 1,000-seat theater.
Yeah, and I think they've changed now. I mean, at least the line I'm on, they're kind of geared towards like younger. You know what I mean? They're not as I don't want to say old, but you know what I mean. They're still 20-somethings to still 70-somethings, but it seems like the younger people come out more. So it's like working a club just in the middle of the ocean. So
that's crazy. That's wild. That's wild.
Yeah.
Let me see. Casey says you're on a chair in the air. Thoughts on Kevin Hart? What about Kevin Hart? Is that in general, Charles, or do we know about him, about his dirty deeds done dirt cheap? I don't know. I like Kevin Hart. I think I'm getting his book for Christmas.
I will tell you what I like about Kevin Hart is he gave all those guys an opportunity here in Detroit.
Oh yeah.
That's what I like because I feel like for whatever reason Detroit is a city that everybody skips over.
Yeah.
They'll go to Minneapolis, they'll go to Chicago, and then they'll go right to New York.
And I'm personal friends with 3 out of the 4 people that are on that show. Which this Wednesday you can see Alton Boogie Williams at Jen's place.
Is he coming up?
Yeah, he's doing it.
I've never seen him, but I've heard great things.
Yeah,
so.
He's awesome. He's a phenomenal, great person to talk to.
Yeah.
Very nice, very much like yourself. Not material-wise, but as in a person who's down to earth, wants to talk to you, and easy to work with.
Yeah, I'll have to try to make it out. Check it out.
Well, would you come?
Yeah, for sure. Try my best.
Oh, Jen's place. Yeah. But if you guys want to see Andy, Beningo, and myself, we're going to be live tonight at Log Cabin in Freeland at 8:45 p.m. I would get there early. Last show was packed out about 7:45. So if you want a seat, I'd get there early. I think tonight's steak night. They might have a deal on the steak or something. I'm not completely sure what that is.
Steak night's a big deal.
Steak night is a big deal.
Big deal, man.
Is there any last advice for young comics?
Just keep doing what you're doing. Follow your dream. Make sure your fly's up.
Follow your dreams, kids. I think that's going to be us for today. Thank you to Andy Beningo.
Thanks for having me.
I really, really, really appreciate it. Andy Beningo is one of my heroes. You guys have a great night. See you at the Log Cabin.